The No Fate channel, checking in. On this episode of the Supplement Review, I am doing a head-to-head comparison of whey protein isolate against a whey protein isolate casein mix to help you decide which one is going to be right for you, to help figure out what the similarities are, what the differences are, and we're going to pull out our Bill Nye the Science Guy hat in order to standardize this test as much as possible. I have in one corner grass-fed whey protein isolate from nutrabio.com, and I have it in their cookies and cream flavor. I also have from nutrabio.com, that's right, we're standardizing the company, Muscle Matrix Protein. This is a whey protein isolate casein blend. It's also in their cookies and cream flavor. And we're going to get into it. But if this is your first time to the channel, do me a favor, hit that red subscribe button. It's right over there. On this series, I just review a supplement on every episode to help you decide if it's right for your fitness goals, your health needs, and most importantly, that hard-earned money. And of course, if you've been a long-time subscriber to the channel, you know I'm a big fan of nutrabio.com. Not only do they make their own supplements, which most people can't speak towards, they also have full label transparency down to the 100th of a gram, 100% label accuracy, third-party testing on the bottom of all their supplements, and frankly, they're just leading the pack and doing everything right. So let's get into the tail of the tape when it comes to an isolate and an isolate casein blend. So right off the top, we have macros. So this comes in at 110 calories, and this one comes in just a bit over 10 calories more at 120 calories. As far as carbohydrates, 2 grams of carbs, 1 gram of sugar. This comes in with 2 grams of carbs, 1 gram of sugar. Total fat per serving, 0.5 grams. Total fat per serving, boom, it's not even on here because that means it's 0. As far as nutrient labels go, they always follow the rules. And if you've got 0 fat, you can't just put fat 0 grams. It just isn't even on here. So let's talk about protein, and that's really what separates these two. This comes in at 25 grams of protein from whey protein isolate, and this is actually grass-fed protein. So that means the milk that's used to make the whey protein isolate comes from cows that are grass-fed, not grain-fed. This is natural flavor, sweetener, and color. This is 100% whey protein isolate from grass-fed. No artificial colors, no sweeteners, no preservatives, no fillers, no excipients, no protein spiking, no proprietary blends, no inferior proteins, no ion-exchanged whey, no acid-treated whey, no maltodextrin or dextrose, no added carbs or sugars, no hidden ingredients, cross-flow, micro, and ultra filtered. And this is natural. If you want natural protein, you ain't getting more natural than this. Conversely, we've got muscle matrix protein. This is protein coming from 2 sources. Whey protein isolate, 55% of this is whey protein isolate, 45% of this is casein protein. And what's the difference between an isolate and a protein? I'm just going to make it real quick. Isolate protein is going to be digested faster in your stomach, probably within 45 minutes, give or take. It's going to digest fast and get into your system. Casein protein is going to take longer to digest. Frankly, it could take up to 4 hours to digest. It tends to make you feel fuller longer, but it does have a longer digestion window. So obviously, the differences simply are that you're going to get a longer, more even digestion window with that muscle matrix protein because you're going to get the fast-acting digesting protein and then the longer, slower digesting protein on the casein side. This is going to just be quicker to digest and take into your system. I'm going to mix these two up, show you how they pour, talk about the taste, and then we're going to dive into cost and help you decide which one is probably going to be best for you. To standardize this test, I have 5 ounces of ice cold water with the agitator inside both of these, a whisking ball. So let's do the pour test. This is your isolate, grass-fed whey protein isolate. Muscle matrix protein, isolate protein with casein protein. I told you we were going to be like Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm going old school. We're going to go Mr. Wizard on this thing, and we're going to talk about all the observations I can make with respect to every category I can think of, just to help you decide which is right for you, because everyone's got different situations. As far as mixability, whether you're going to be mixing this with a spoon, a fork, a whisking ball, or a blender, grass-fed whey protein isolate just mixes better. It's better to deal with water solubility. It's clearer, cleaner protein, and it's just going to be quicker and easier to mix in your blender bottle. Conversely, we have muscle matrix protein. By no means is this an issue with mixing, especially if you're using a whisking ball or a blender. As you saw the pour, there was no clumps, no issues. However, because of the casein protein does take longer to dissolve in water, and you're going to have to either mix it for longer or shake it harder, especially if you don't have a whisking ball in there. Almost everybody cares what their supplements taste like, especially your proteins. That's why there's so many different flavors out there. Now, I standardized this test because I've got the same exact flavor from the same exact company. So for cookies and cream, again, keep in mind this is a very niche product for the grass-fed whey protein isolate. You get that cream on that front end and that hint of cookie finish. Typically, the more clear, clean a protein is going to be, the harder it is to flavor. Oftentimes, as we know, flavor comes from artificial ingredients, and this has none. It also comes from carbohydrates. This only has 2. It comes from sugars. This only has 1. And it comes from fat, and this has 0. So clearly, it's going to be very hard to flavor, but the flavor is there, especially for such a clean protein. This one does have good flavor. Now, muscle matrix protein, you're going to get a much more rich flavor because you get that casein protein in. It's thicker. Even though the water used was exactly the same, the texture of the protein was a thicker protein. You're going to get a much creamier cookies and cream finish with that like graham cracker type of, like, not graham cracker, that Oreo cookie kind of finish. Really solid flavor. Obviously, this one stands out as being better. And again, it's got that 1/2 gram of fat. Doesn't seem like much in terms of the fat, but 1/2 gram, that's all flavor, baby. That's all flavor. And this is obviously going to be the best flavor compared to these two. So if you're going to go with an isolate or isolate casein mix, I happen to think that the isolate casein mixes tend to have a more rich, a more bold flavor. As far as muscle matrix protein from nutrabio, they've got a number of flavors. My favorite is confetti cake. That is like my #1 favorite. I can't get that enough. As far as whey protein isolates, this comes in 4 flavors for grass-fed. Nutrabio also has like, I think, 7 or 8 flavors now for their whey protein isolate. The only difference is it's not grass-fed protein, right? So the milk doesn't come from cows that are fed with grass, they're fed with grain. That's the only difference. They have a number of flavors in that category. My favorite is cinnamon sugar donut. I eat it, I drink it, I bake with it, I put it in my oatmeal. That stuff is legit. Cost. For some of you, the most important category, because you are on a budget and you want to get the best bang for your buck. And for many of you, you don't care about cost. You want to get the best product for you, especially considering you might only be doing a scoop of this every day or every other day, so that cost factor has less of an importance. I went to nutrabio.com. I used my own affiliate link. I use my own affiliate code, NOFATE247. That second 7 is for savings. I'll put that in the description of today's video. That does help out the channel. It does help me out. So if you want anything from nutrabio.com, use that code and help out a brother. But I used that code, got myself 10% off, and that brings the 2-pound bottle of grass-fed whey protein isolate to 6 cents per gram of protein. Notice I didn't say per serving. What happens where a lot of people get smoke and mirrored, they get blinded by price because they're looking at the per serving price, and you want to be comparing per gram of protein price because that puts everything on the same playing field. You're comparing apples to apples. 6 cents per gram of protein is high. That is because this is a specific niche product from grass-fed protein. It also comes in only 2-pound tubs. Clearly, the bigger the tub, the bigger the quantity you buy, that does drive the price point down. If you are looking to get whey protein isolate, but you do want to save money, you can get the 5-pound tubs in their regular whey protein isolate that isn't necessarily specific to grass-fed cows. I will tell you that that price point is 3.5 cents per gram of protein. Now, Muscle Matrix Protein, I went on their website and I calculated it for their 5-pound tub, and that does come down to 4 cents per gram of protein, and that's exactly what the industry standard is for an isolate casein protein, and that's right what you should be paying. So if you're looking to compare grass-fed versus muscle matrix isolate casein protein, the grass-fed is going to be more expensive, but if you're comparing casein isolate protein to a regular whey protein isolate, you're going to find that just the whey protein isolate should come in cheaper. And again, keep in mind there are ways to save money by rocking the nutrabio sales, using my coupon, and of course buying in bulk, buying the biggest container that they have. Now it is time. It's time for Fate of the Union, where I tell you which one is right for me. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you, but I'm just going to go through my thought process. I will tell you straight away that I always lean towards an isolate casein blend whenever possible. I want to have the longest digestion window I can, whether that is for pre-workout, post-workout, or whenever, nighttime protein. I always want to have an isolate casein blend. When I am looking for different flavors to change things up, I go with a isolate protein because it is clean. It has a specific level of purity that it has to hit to be considered whey protein isolate, and the flavors end up being very good. I personally tend to shy away from the grass-fed protein myself, only because I don't necessarily think or care about that extra like half an inch that they go through to get the milk from cows that are specifically grass-fed. I don't necessarily think it translates to me at my level and for my specific needs. Now, everyone is of course different, and there is no right answer. Obviously, both of these are going to be delivering on everything that they promise, and I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of them as long as you get the one that's right for you. Let me know, comment below, which one do you think of these, isolate or an isolate casein blend, is right for you. It's right for your health, right for your fitness goals, and it's right for your hard-earned money. Now, if you came this far in the video, you know what to do. You know the YouTube rules. There are rules on YouTube. If you come to the end of the video, you must give it a like, you must hit that subscribe button, and you must have a great day. As usual, thank you for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.
This channel is dedicated to my life as a father of 2 wonderful children, and it centers around health, fitness, and all of the tricks and tribulations that I go through to try to be a great parent to my children and still accomplish my own personal goals.